Hello and welcome to this review of the Mart Mayhem historical romance book series by Callie Hutton. At the time of this recording, this whole series is available on Kindle Unlimited. I'm Olivia, your new favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. First up, we have The Elusive Wife, and this one is an arranged marriage romance. As a stipulation of the late Earl's will, Jason needs to fulfill an arranged marriage to inherit. He is completely drunk through the wedding and abandons his new wife immediately the next morning. Now, the new Countess Olivia is appalled and embarrassed with her new situation and goes to London to visit her friend and confront her wayward husband. When they see each other at a ball, though, he does not recognize her at all and proceeds to flirt with her, even though he at least knows that he's married. While she is angry at him, he is so besotted that he seeks an annulment from his wife so that he can pursue the beautiful lady from the ball, even though that woman is actually his wife. This is a humorous setup, and when the truth finally tumbles out, our Earl is trying really hard to woo his wife and make the marriage work, even though she's totally skeptical and resists. From here on out, the rest of the series will focus on one particular family. Book two is The Duke's Quandary, and we have the best friend of the man from the first book, Drake. He is a new duke seeking the perfect wife this season. While chaperoning his sisters through the marriage mart, his mother is also hosting another young lady, Penelope, who is an orphaned acquaintance. Penelope is clumsy and awkward in society, and she would much rather be in the garden pursuing her botany. She had grown up with her botanist father and spent more time in the dirt than anything. She also wears spectacles, but her aunt told her not to, so she bumps into things all the time. Drake and Penelope are the worst match possible, but they are undeniably attracted to each other, so it was entertaining to see how they work out their differences. And I love seeing Drake be all sweet and protective of Penelope. So remember how the Duke Drake had all those sisters? The rest of the series is all of Drake's sisters. Book 3 is A Lady's Disgrace, and Duke's sister Abigail has just been jilted by her fiance who eloped with another woman. With her reputation in peril, her brother arranges for a family friend, country rector Joseph, to marry her. Abigail and Joseph agree to a marriage of convenience and a friendly partnership because Abigail is unwilling to put her emotions at risk again. Joseph has admired Abigail for years, but didn't think he had a chance with her due to differences in social standing. He hesitantly agrees to the arrangement, but plans to slowly woo her into a true marriage. But if general angst isn't enough for you, there's also a conniving widow in the village who is dismayed that Joseph has come home with a wife. We even get a few passages here and there from her point of view. And then we have a bunch of random little life threatening accidents that Abigail keeps having. This poor woman nearly dies so many times in this book. I'm pretty sure the audience is meant to know who the villain is here, but it takes a bit longer for Abigail and Joseph to figure it all out and then admit that they've fallen in love. Book 4 is The Baron's Betrayal, and we have Marion, who is the widowed older sister of the family, and she faints when she sees her husband at a local assembly. Turns out he was lost at sea, severely injured, and now blind. Tristan thinks that his blindness makes him an incapable husband or father, so he stayed away from his wife Marion, allowing her to think that he was dead so that she could remarry and have a happy life. He is insistent on seeking a divorce from her, even though that's completely scandalous and impractical in this time period. Stubborn Marion wants her husband back, so she moves in with him and then follows him when he tries to leave town. This book has both characters being completely stubborn and unwilling to understand the other person's point of view. There wasn't much external plot here, and I found the back and forth fighting to be a little bit tedious. This one wasn't really my favorite of the series, but good to read just to understand the family dynamics. Book 5 is The Highlander's Choice. We have Lady Sybil in Scotland for her friend's wedding, but she's already prejudiced against Scotsmen, thinking that they're brash barbarians. Sybil's friend's fiance has brought his neighbor and friend Liam to the estate, and he has his own preconceived notions of English women, thinking that they're spoiled and dainty princesses. Both are terribly wrong for each other, but they seem to prove the stereotypes wrong and are intensely attracted to each other. Eventually, Liam invites Sybil to his home to meet his family and see if they'll suit for marriage. And Liam's mother is actually really cruel to Sybil. It's a whole lot of drama. These two need to work out. They need to get over their prejudices before anything is settled. Book 6 is The Highlander's Accidental Marriage. We have Lady Sarah, who is on the road to see her twin sister Sybil in Scotland and runs into many calamities along the journey. In a carriage accident, she loses her driver and footman. She's rescued by Professor Braden, who is on his way home, which neighbors Sarah's sister. Sarah's maid and chaperone then falls ill, and they need to leave her behind in order to continue the journey. At one inn, Sarah declares herself married to Braden so that they can reserve the last available room for the night. Unfortunately, in Scotland, that counts as being legally married. While these two are very obviously attracted to each other, they had no intentions whatsoever of getting married anytime soon. Sarah is about to be a published novelist and has obligations in London, while Braden is awaiting an opportunity to go on a scholarly expedition in Rome. They're both completely stubborn. They think that their individual pursuits are more important than their accidental spouse. There's definitely a lot of conflict between these two that needs resolving for any sort of happily ever after. And finally, we have the last book, book 7, The Earl's Return. And remember, way back in book 3, an earl abandons his fiancée 2 weeks before the wedding and elopes with another woman. Now, a widower, he's back in London to seek a new bride and is fascinated by the younger sister of the woman he jilted. How's that for drama? So, while Redgrave was an off page villain in the previous book, we learn in this one the reasons for his actions and subsequent misery. Turns out it was a trap mixed with blackmail by his father in law. Lady Mary, of course, is wary of the man because of what he did to her sister, but can't help being attracted to him and realize there is likely more to his story than it appears. Mary has her own secrets and history that makes her a little bit skittish around men. It was interesting to see these two open up about their secrets and learn to trust the other person. I think overall, this whole series was really entertaining. I really liked book 1 just for the humor setup. I liked book 2 because of the clumsy, awkward heroine. And book 7 was just really interesting to see the villain kind of come back and figure out his backstory and explain himself, and then still marry into this family that he originally lost his opportunity to. Thank you so much for watching this video. Links to everything I've talked about is in the description box. Like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.